Hello, welcome to Deep Fork Rentals YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys stopping by to check out everything that's in this big box that's probably sitting in front of you right now. Appreciate you guys ordering our equipment and working with us, and excited to hear about the stories that you guys are about to make on your adventure. Just before we started, just wanted to reiterate that everything that we do rent out to everybody has been tried, it's been tested, it's been proven by us. It's all the best in class, so we wouldn't put it in here if it was any other way. So without further ado, let's get inside the box. So I'm going to remove my lid. Yours probably looks a little something like this. Got a Deep Fork shirt. This is a thank you. Koozie. Put in it what you may. We got packing list and contents form. Make sure that you got the right customer name, that is your name, on this sheet, confirmation number, the right package, and the right rental dates. If that is not correct, hit us with a call, hit us with an email. We want to make sure we take care of you guys the right way. And then, of course, you probably saw this welcome letter, again, as a thank you, and that's the QR code is probably how you found this video. Perfect. Let's remove this. Before we get started, one thing that I want to note is I highly recommend doing all of this prior to going on your trip. Everything is a lot easier to adjust, to tweak, to understand, learn, in your own home, in your living room, in your yard, prior to being on top of a mountain when it's snowing and the wind's blowing 20 miles an hour on you. So try everything on ahead of time. Try to learn how all the equipment works. That's the purpose of this video. Rewatch it as many times as you need to, so that by the time you are where you need to be, you're out hunting, something you've been waiting for all year, you know how everything works. So take my advice on that. So to start, this guy here, this is going to be our big water reservoir. So you can choose to fill this ahead of time before you leave your home. Put fresh drinking water in there. Otherwise, there is a water filtration system in here. If you are going to be in a place where you want to pack in, you can filter water and store it all in this collapsible reservoir. Pretty simple. Next, just a couple fire starter sticks. Pretty simple to use. Take one of these out, hold a match, hold a lighter to it. It's going to start burning slow. You don't have to worry about it going boom on you or lighting your hand on fire. It'll start to burn slow. Just put your kindling, then your sticks, whatever you're burning on top of it, and it'll help you a lot. I like those, especially if it's a cold day and I'm glassing, or if it's a wet day and it's hard for me to get a fire going. Those are really handy to just, use a whole one, use a half one, start it, so that you got a fire to keep you warm instead of fighting the wind and fighting the rain. As promised, here's the water filtration system. So basically, I have the main reservoir, and I was looking for this guy. This is the node that basically goes at the bottom of it. So how this works is if you are near a river, lake, stream, whichever, don't drink it without putting it through here. It's really simple to use, doesn't take very long. It'll ruin your trip. I've heard of people getting bad water and your trip's over in a hurry. So take the time, fill this guy up with water out of wherever. You're then going to take this blue piece. You're going to just screw it on. It's just a simple turning on. Then find a place to either hang this or set it above a bottle. Or again, the water reservoir that I showed you earlier. And this is going to percolate all the water out of this bag, is going to percolate through this guy, and you're going to have clean water coming out the other end. So take advantage of that. Don't drink dirty water. This will keep you safe. Next, simple first aid kit, just the basics: tape, bandages, tweezers, some scissors, butterfly bandages, just enough stuff to get you off the mountain in case you do get yourself in a little bit of a jam with a cut or a fall or something like that. So use whatever you can out of there if need be. We hope that you never have to use it. Some silverware, a couple plastic forks and spoons for your meals. While we're on the topic, we got 5 meals in here for you guys, so lunch is on us for the week. Right there. We got this water bladder. So this guy, and I'll show you exactly how this works in a second. This is what you're going to fill and then put inside of your pack. The hose will then come out, basically wrap over your shoulder, so when you're hiking, you don't have to keep digging your water bottle out. Basically, you can use it and drink right out of it without having to stop your hike. So I'm going to show you how to set that up right now. Okay, so how the water bladder works is basically you'll fill this bladder with water. And when you open your backpack, it's going to look like this. There's going to be a flap here and a drawstring here. When this is filled, you're going to stick it down into the pocket. You're then going to take your hose and it's going to port out this hole at the top. Put it on either side for whatever shoulder you prefer the hose to come out of. And then the last thing we're going to do is take this drawstring, and there is basically a little clip at the top here. We're just going to wrap this string around our water bladder so that it's not, basically just so it doesn't rest on the bottom, so that the weight is being bared by the rope. That's how the water bladder attaches. Okay, that's how you use the water bladder. Got your game bags, so there should be 4 bags in here. They are the extra large ones in case you are hunting caribou or hunting moose. Basically, once you get a quarter, stick it in this guy. Get some air to it, hang it in a tree, do whatever you got to do, but it will preserve your meat so that you can get it back home, get it to your processor, whichever you may do with it. In the case that you do use these bags, we do not require you to wash them and give them back to us. We will figure that out once you're successful. I don't want to jinx anybody. Just know we don't want bloody bags back. Okay, let's move on to the, actually, I'm going to go to this while we're on the meat and meat preservation. We'll finish up with the bone saw knife kit. So basically in this guy, you've got 2 things. You've got your skinning knife. Watch for this back hook. It's sharp, but it is nice for when you are skinning animals. You can use that. Obviously sharp blade. And then this is your bone saw. So in the case that you do need to use it on the back quarters, grip it just like this. Put it between your index and your middle finger, and that'll allow you to saw if you need to. Make sure you know how to take care of your game prior to being in the field. There's a bunch of videos out there. I'm going to make one, but I do not have that done yet, so make sure you know what you're doing. Wind checker, easy to use. Basically turn the knob up, give it a shake and a squeeze. That's going to give you direction of what way's the wind blowing. Handy on a stalk. Okay, now we can move on to our tripod. So, and I'm going to jump in a little bit deeper into how to use this guy to your advantage with the optics that we have in here for you. But in a short sense, it's got 3 legs. Biggest thing to understand is there is this handle right here. It's going to be locked when you get it. It's not going to want to move up and down. Twist it to the left, now it's free floating. When you twist it to the right, now it's locked. So left, up, down, all around, twist it to the right, it's locked. Be sure when you are hiking or when you're not using this that it is in, I like to put it in this down and locked position. I have had a couple of those handles spin out before because I got them too loose and didn't think to tighten them back up, and that is not fun when that happens. So we're going to come back to that once we get into the optics, but that's the tripod. Okay, we got the gun bipod. So this guy looks like this, and I'm going to show you how to install that on your gun right now. When I take the bipod, first thing I'm going to do in the case of using a sling, take my sling out. So most synthetic rifles are going to have this little knob that your sling screws into. So what we're actually going to do, facing the legs towards the barrel, is set that knob in this gap so that the legs straddle the gun barrel. There then is these two little clips right here. We're going to spin those up inside to grab either side of that knob. It's going to seem a little wonky at first, but when you'll feel it bite. And then as you set those two pins into that knob, we then are going to screw this down to tighten it. You can now see my bipod is attached to my rifle. That's how it's going to fold down. Just like that. And then if I do have my sling, what I then can do, fold the legs back up. They do extend just in case you do have a interesting position shot. They are spring loaded, so you can kind of play with that a little bit on how the legs work. Just going to fold that leg back in, and then I'll fold these back up towards the barrel. And then the last thing to do is go back to this piece right here. It's going to represent that knob that's on the rifle, and that's where your sling can go back into. Just like that. Okay, that's how you use the gun bipod. Really handy. Next, we've got our hiking pole. There should be two of them in here. There's the other one right here. So with these guys, I'm going to come a little bit closer. So basically, what you have is a slide. So this is going to slide, top half and bottom half both slide. There are units of measure on here. So as you can see, they both have units of measure. And what I like to do is try to pick the same number, both the upper half, snap that, and the lower half. In this case, I do 120 centimeters. That's just kind of the sweet spot for me. How to find that sweet spot is basically when you set that pole on the ground, you want your arm to be just below 90 degrees, if not at 90. About right there is about perfect. And then you have your wrist strap here. So put your hand through and you're going to grab it just like this. It's going to go between your thumb and your index finger. A lot of times you'll find it's nice to have your thumb on top, but this is going to protect yourself when you're in uneven terrain, and it's going to make sure that the hiking pole doesn't slip out of your hand. So always use that wrist strap and make sure that you got the proper height for the hiking poles. That's them. Okay. We will get into optics now. So this is the spotting scope. Basically, you've got the neoprene cap and then you've got the plastic cap. That's to keep dust and debris out of there. It's going to be the same for the eyepiece. So remove both the neoprene and the plastic cap. These are super powerful. They are a little heavy, so handle with a little bit of care, but they are tough along with that. So basically, again, I would, once you get used to some of this equipment and how it all fits together, go and practice. So go to the nearest park, local farmer's field, wherever you can, get out to 600-800 yards and practice mounting this on the bipod. Again, I'm going to show you that in a little bit. But basically the two things to note, this little dial up here is going to be your zoom. This is going to be your focus. So when you mount that, basically you're always going to start with your focus, and then I like to have it zoomed out, and then if I see something I want to look at a little bit more in depth, I'll zoom it in and then readjust my focus. But I'm going to go through all that in a little bit. So just be patient on that one. Put our spotter away. And then we got the binoculars. So it comes in a chest case, pretty simple. Just goes over, Your head goes through the center there, and then you'll have the straps come wrap around your ribs, and it'll mount just like here. Pretty straightforward. And they also have that same mount as the spotting scope, and I'm going to show you guys how to do all that, set that up, and mount it right now. We have our spotting scope with this rectangular mount. It's going to be the same mount that's on the binoculars, but as showed previously, it'll slide, that rectangle will slide in. We're just going to cinch down this gray dial, and now we can attach our spotting scope and binoculars. Okay, so that's how you mount your spotting scope and your binoculars. Again, I can't emphasize enough, do this ahead of time so that you're not learning out in the field and you're spending more time looking for animals instead of trying to figure out how to operate equipment. Always the best case scenario whenever trying something that you're not quite familiar with. Let's put our binocs away. Move on to the pack. So, we got last piece, our rangefinder. This guy, these are 1,000-yard rangefinders, so especially for the guys out west. Again, go practice. You're going to hit this big button on top closest to the eyepiece. Hit that one time, look through it. You're going to see a red crosshair, and then when you click it again, it's going to give you a distance. In the event that you want to move and get multiple distances, if you hold the button, it'll adjust to wherever the crosshairs are. So pretty straightforward to use. They work really well. So that should be all the optics. I've been excited to get to the pack here. So we're finally here. Okay, so basically we've got our frame pack. I'm going to actually get rid of this bin. Okay, so I'll show you guys how to put it on first. So basically, we're going to start with shoulder. Hip's going to come around. We've got our other hip, and then we're going to put our left shoulder through the pack. And it's going to sit a little bit loosely to start, but we're going to adjust that.
Here's the contact info for Trisha Pack.
So what we're going to do is, now we've got our shoulders, we've got our hips. We're going to take this, we're going to open it up. We're going to open up our other hip side so that it's loose. Now I'm going to clip, and always do it in this order. Start with your hip. We got our clip. We're going to pull these tight so it sits right on top of our hip bones. Okay. We're now going to go to the cross chest strap, loosen it, clip it, pull that tight. Watch my mic here. And that's going to be right above or slightly below our collarbone right there. And then we've got these two straps on the back. So these are going to be our load bearing straps. So your pack will most likely be away from your body in the beginning. When you grab these two straps, pull them down, and that's going to pull that load into your body. And then you can finish with pulling back down these shoulder straps here. So the pack should be fit fairly tight. Notice there's no air against my back to the pack. It's going to feel like somebody's giving you a hug from behind. You want to make sure that you're pulling that weight down into your body and pushing into your hips so that you're not slouched back and putting and straining a lot of weight on your back, or it's going to be a long hike in and out. So make sure that the pack is snug, it's tight, and it's, when you move, it's not wobbling all around. It's staying taut to your body. So let's see what's in the pack. So I've got this top little pouch here. Put in it what you may. There are a couple extra straps in there. If by any chance these straps that are already on the pack don't fit you, they should. But if they don't, there are a couple extras. Or if you break a buckle, I got a couple extra ones in there for you. So we're going to unclip these front two buckles. That's going to get us to this big pocket. So in here is your tent. There are instructions inside on how to set that up. Again, set it up ahead of time so you know what you're working with. You got Jetboil fuel. and you have your actual jet boil. So I'm going to show you guys how to use this quick so that you got a better understanding of how to be safe with this, but use it effectively. So let's jump into that. Take off the lid. Inside, you're going to find this guy right here. This is the fuel throttle. It's going to fold up inside, fold it out. You'll notice on it, there's a plus and a minus. Plus obviously meaning more fuel, minus meaning less fuel. You're going to take your fuel tank, screw it on. You're going to have your water inside of here. You're going to proceed to turn the gas on. You're going to hear it. I'm not going to leave it on. I'll then hit this black switch, which is the igniter. It's going to create a flame. And then I'm going to put my jet boil on top, and you'll see there's a notch right here, a slot, that's going to fit into this divot right there, and that's how we can lock it in place. I'll then boil my water. This has an indicator on it, so it'll turn red as the water starts boiling. Once the red mark reaches how high your water is, you know that it's up to temp, and you can then pour it into your meal kit, and it will make your Mountain House meal or whichever packed up meal you got. Okay, so that's how you use the jet boil. We've got our sleeping pad here, so I will jump into that also and show you how to inflate this and deflate this. It can be a little tricky, so let's jump into that. What I'm going to do is remove it from its bag. It's going to be rolled up. Sometimes it'll be tightened down. You gotta loosen it. Cinch that down as tight as you can. When you pack it up, make it a little bit more dense to fit in the pack. So we're gonna work this thing out. Taking the case off. Which can be a little bit of a process if we left a little air in it. Basically, it's gonna come rolled up. What you're gonna see is this nozzle. So you've got to twist this black thing out. You're gonna see it extend like that. And then you're gonna open the blocker. So we're twisting this orange valve. I'll then proceed to blow in here. It'll be sanitized, cleaned, ready for you to do it. And then the mattress pad will take in the air and inflate. And then you can turn the stopper back and then shut the blow valve. When you get done, just leave it open, roll it back up, and proceed to put it back in the carrying case. That's how we use our sleeping pad. Got our bear spray, pretty simple to use. Don't point this at yourself. It is some pretty nasty stuff. If you do have to use it, pull off this orange tab, similar to a fire extinguisher, and then you'll press down. Once that orange clip is removed, press down and it will shoot out. Always have the loop facing you. Make sure to have the loop facing you. Hopefully you don't have to use it. You got your pillow. Pretty straightforward on how to use one of them. And then lastly, you've got your sleeping bag, which again, pretty simple to use. Pack it up, roll it out, hop in there. So that should conclude everything in the Deluxe package. Again, if you have questions on how to use something, let us know, email, call. You know, we can hop on and walk you guys through a demo. If something doesn't make sense, if you're missing something, hopefully not, but we'll make it right with you. Can't say enough about the gratitude that we have for you guys working with us, and hope that your adventure is safe. For those of you that are hunting, good luck, and we hope you guys share some pictures with us so that we can see what's going on in the woods. Be safe, and thank you.